All right. Hey, everybody. This is Jeremy once again. I'm coming back to you from the shop here to give a basics glide waxing clinic. So I want to kind of go over some basic principles on glide waxing from both hot wax and liquid perspectives at a various different levels of expertise of applying. So this is great tips and knowledge you can use if you are brand new to the sport, never done cross-country skiing before, and just want to make your skis just a little bit faster at home, all the way up to the techniques and the tools that I use here at the shop in full service, and then also stuff that gets used at the World Cup. So a little bit of history of who I am and where we come from on this. So once again, I'm Jeremy Hecker. I'm the racing service manager here at the shop. In addition, I am the tech rep for Rex Ski Wax in North America. With this, yeah, I'll be going over highlighting the Rex line and giving some general principles on how to understand that line, but also for coaches, for individuals out there, how you can build yourself a race box, a very simple and affordable race box that's going to be competitive in a lot of different conditions. So that's kind of what's going to be going on for this video. Yeah, let's get started here. The first process of waxing your skis always going to be cleaning your skis. So cleaning the skis is going to be super important part of this process. So from Rex, we have a glide cleaner. Actually, not do that one. I'll do this one instead. We have a glide cleaner. This is an important part of the process because when you're skiing on snow, especially early season where conditions might not be ideal, there's a lot of dirtier snow types out there. So I do this in two different steps here. So I will shake up the bottle to mix up the additives and the paraffin. While the ski is still wet, I will take my cleaning brush. So I have a cleaning only, just label it as cleaning brush. And while it is wet, I'm going to just brush it off really quickly. And we'll see what these skis look like here really quickly. So I'm going to take my fiber cloth after that and wipe this off. And now we'll see, yeah, there's a bit of gunk in that ski there that came off with that cleaner. So it's definitely something I don't necessarily want ironed into the ski base. I would rather have my ski base be nice and clean when I'm touching an iron to it. So after I do that, I always go a second time, and then on the second pass, I will let this dry. So, this, I'll now set off to the side, let it dry. It takes just a minute or two for it to dry out. While I'm doing that, I'm going to actually swap over to my other ski here and kind of show you a secondary way of testing this and playing around with it. So I use that glide cleaner. One other thing, a little trick I do, is I've got a empty thing of probably G21 here, where you can just pop off the top here and refill it with some glide cleaner. Now you have a handy applicator. So this is something I like to use here at the shop. It's just a little bit easier, a little bit more efficient. So I'll buy the big service bottles of glide cleaner and then just refill it in empty containers. And then once again, taking my cleaning brush. Cleaning brush, it doesn't have to be anything specific. I really like to use a metal brush when I'm cleaning. It doesn't have to be a fancy steel brush like I have here. It could be something like a copper, brass, bronze. Really doesn't matter as much. But metal brushes do a better job of cleaning out the ski base. It will, the bristles of that brush will go into the structure and help clean out the base. So either a steel or really any type of metal brush is more than fine. Steel is generally a little bit better, but it's also going to be a little bit more expensive. Steel brushes are just have a premium on it. The reason why they're better is the bristles are going to be a little bit finer, which will allow you to go into those the structure of the ski a little bit better than the brass, bronze, copper type brushes. So I'm going to let this one dry and go back to that first ski. That you'll see there's a little bit of a dusty layer on this. That is the paraffin that is in the glide cleaner here. So Rex has one of the highest concentrations of paraffin in their glide cleaner. What that really does well is it will, as you are cleaning the base, it's going to replace it with a nice hard paraffin on top of that. And that paraffin is going to help act as a kind of a base layer to all the extra stuff that we're going to do on top of this. So now that I have the ski nice and clean, I'm going to start that waxing process. So with the waxing process, I'm going to be using a hot wax. And this system that I'm going to be talking about today really revolves around keeping things simple. The simplest way to do it is to just pick out one type of melt-on wax. In the past, my go-to has been Rex Blue. Super wide range of temperature ranges that it works in. I think on the box it says like -10 or -1 to -10 degrees Celsius. It can go well above and well below that and still perform very, very well. So it's a really good all-around base wax that you can use in most conditions. This year we have a new product. It's the NF Sisu Base Glider. This kind of takes the place of that Rex Blue in terms of that's a wax that you put on as your base glider, and then you can augment it for certain conditions with the liquids, and I'll discuss that in a little bit here. But yes, I will be applying the Sisu Base Glider to the skis. So having just that one melt on means that you don't have to invest in 5-10 different colors of waxes for specific conditions. While that will help out with performance somewhat, you can really get by with the one melt on and 4 liquids. Make it a little bit more simple of a wax box, and it's still going to perform very, very well because the base layer that you're putting on works in a wide range of conditions. So, so with these base layers, I will have my iron and then the wax, and I will use a crayon method where I am very quickly touching the wax to the iron, and then as quickly as I can getting that wax applied to the ski base. So what this does is it allows a very smooth application of the wax to the ski base. It'll give good coverage of the ski base, so that way when I'm ironing, everything will be kind of taken care of there. So let me show you on the video. I'll bring this up a little bit closer here. So you'll see here that I got really good coverage along the entire base of the ski. Should make ironing very simple. With ironing, this is one of the big tips that I have is make sure you have a decent iron. So a good iron is going to help out with this process. A lot of times I have people complaining about, oh, it's ironing's a little bit difficult. I have to move the iron slower because it just doesn't melt very well. Well, if you have a better iron, it's going to really help out that process. A better iron is going to keep a more consistent temperature across the entire ski. Another tip that I have is run the iron temperature a little bit warmer than what you would think. So the melt temperature on the package here says 140 degrees. I always like to run it a little bit warmer than that, so I'm actually running this iron at 150 degrees. What that means is that the wax is going to melt quicker, which means I can move the iron faster. If I'm moving the iron faster, it's going to be touching the ski base for a shorter period of time. It's going to be actually better for the ski base, melting it at a higher temperature. So you'll see here, as I'm ironing, just one smooth, solid pass from tip to tail, probably 6 to 8 seconds, however long that took there. and that's going to be good. And so I can put my hand to this, and it is warm, but by no means hot. So really is not hot to the touch at all. You'll see there's a couple spots on the ski that I might want to go over again. So up here in the tail or tip, down here in the tail, maybe just a little bit more. But I'm going to wait for this to cool back down to room temperature before I hit it again. So I'm actually going to hide the ski off here and then go back to that first one that I had. And so I'm actually going to go to a different ski here. So I'm going to one of my grind test skis to show you, well, I just showed you what to do. Now I'm going to show you what not to do. So this is a common practice that you'll see a lot of people do, is instead of that crayonning method, you're going to do what's called the drip method. So with that, I'm just going to hold the wax to the iron and just drip it onto the ski base. Not only is this using a lot more wax, but as I'm sure you can see, it is not providing full coverage of that base. So I don't have, there's plenty of spots here on the base where the iron will be pretty much touching a bare base until the wax spreads out. And it takes time for that wax to spread out. So I'm going to go again. And I'm having to move a little bit slower than what I was doing with that crayon method. So it took a little bit longer, but then as you can see, there are places along this entire base that I missed. And there's also spots where the wax didn't even get completely melted. So that's why I like that crayon method. The other very common mistake I see is that people are like, oh, I missed a spot, I want to make sure I get it ironed in. So this is now going to be me trying to make sure that all the wax is ironed in on this ski. So I'm just making sure every little spot is ironed in here. I'm sure that everybody in the comments or in the video is probably yelling at me right now about what I'm doing to the ski. But again, I want to make sure that just everything is melted in. I'm just missing a spot right there. Got it. Cool. And all right, I think I got most of the ski. Let me just do for safety. I'll just do one more pass here. Cool. All right. Yeah, this ski base is that's warm. So that is something that you want to avoid doing. Is avoid. I mean, I melted everything in, but I also melted the ski base a little bit too. So really trying to pay attention to how much heat you're applying to ski. I can actually feel that heat through the sidewall, not even the top of the ski. So that means the core started to get hot as well, heated as well. So we'll scrape and brush that later and see what it looks like. But I'm predicting it's going to look not pretty. So okay, so I'm going to go back to this here and just make sure that my other ski is all set. So this is the cleaner that's on there right now. So I'm just brushing that off again with my cleaning brush. Throw that back. Get rid of the dust. And off camera here, I'm actually going to use a wax machine. I don't have a good way for me to take and move the video for that. But I'll show you what the end product of a wax machine is. Now, I can show you at least what the tray looks like. Just grab one. So this is what the tray looks like for a wax machine. So basically what it is, it's a pot of wax. So you can see some, I think this is probably Rex Blue in here. Uncertain at the time. But you'll see some wax in here that I put this into a machine, it'll heat up this entire tray. It means that I can roll this rubber roller, it'll pick up the wax and it'll actually apply it to the ski base. What the benefit of that is, and I'll talk about this while I'm off camera. What the benefit of that is it's going to apply a very smooth, very uniform layer of wax that makes it really easy to iron in. So again, here is that, I now have that smooth layer of wax, one very thin layer of wax across the ski. It does not take me very long. It only takes maybe a second and a half to roll that on. And then because it's so smooth, I can actually move this iron even faster yet than even with that crayoning method. And then once again, it is just looks like glass on the ski. So that's done really well. The wax machine is one of the most important things that I have at my disposal for cleaning a pair of skis. Without that wax machine, waxing it's a nightmare in terms of just the amount of time that it takes. And it's not just the time in applying the wax and ironing the wax, it's also the time saved in scraping the wax, scraping and brushing. So even with that crayoning method, there are certain spots on the ski that have a little bit more wax or a little bit less wax, and it's slightly more difficult to scrape than something that is, again, extremely uniform. So here's the differences between that crayoned wax versus the rolled-on wax. So again, on this ski, I want to go back and hit that one spot that I missed. So when I'm ironing, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the iron, but I try to keep it mostly on the heel of the iron and let that front of the iron kind of float on top of the wax. So if there is a little drop of wax or something like that, it's not going to just hit it and stop. It's going to kind of float on it and then help to melt it in as we go along. Then I'm going to highlight the irons once again. I kind of talked about it, but getting yourself a good iron is what I think is really important. What would qualify as a good iron? Really anything that's less than $100, those are the irons that are not going to be strong enough, powerful enough, or have a thick enough plate to really be able to hold the temperature well. There's a lot of irons on the market, including this one from Rex, in that $150 price point that that really do work well. So that's kind of one of the pieces that if you're looking at getting into the system at home, investing that extra little money into an iron, into a good iron, is extremely important in my mind. So, cool. We are going to go on to scraping and brushing. I just ironed the ski. I'm going to go back again to the other ski. I'll actually go back to this one here. This ski is still warm. That ski is still warm. So we'll just go to this one here instead. That's the other piece here. I just said that ski is still warm. I want to make sure the ski gets basically back down to room temperature before I'm touching it with a scraper or an iron, or not an iron, scraper or a brush. So first step in scraping and brushing is going to be the groove. So I will always want to do the grooves and the edges first. The reason behind that is that if in the case you accidentally cut across the ski, you're going to only put a scratch in the surface of the ski into the wax itself and not the actual ski. So that's definitely the reason why you'd want to do this step first. Secondly, you're going to grab, make sure I got a sharp one here. Yeah. Do the edges of the ski. So again, similar to the concept with the groove, you want to do the edges first so you don't accidentally scratch your ski, and then scraping. And so always going tip to tail. I'm holding the scraper just like this. I'm putting even pressure on both sides of the groove and trying to keep that scraper level. So one recommendation I have for those that are newer to scraping and brushing is actually to use a thick scraper. So this is a 5 mil scraper. This is a 3 mil scraper. The thicker scrapers are going to do a better job of staying straight while you're using it. Because they're thicker, they're harder to bend. So here's that thick scraper. It's really difficult for me to bend this. Versus that 3 mil scraper, I can really put a good bend on this. The benefits to a 3 mil scraper for skis that may look like this, that are no longer flat because there's been a lot of temperature on it, it's had skied a lot on it quite a bit, is I can bend the scraper to those dips and crevices in the ski base to make it work. But having a scraper that is just straight to begin with, flat to begin with, is definitely nicer for those that are beginning that scraping process. So next, we're going to go into brushing. I'll show you the hand brushes. So with hand brushes, the very first step that you do after scraping is going to be a metal brush. Again, it can be the brass, copper, bronze. I again prefer the steel, and it's important at this step to really clean out the structure of the ski. So that's the pattern that's on the bottom of the ski there. And so with the steel, again, going tip to tail, and always making sure that these metal brushes you're using in the same direction. So I don't have one of my brushes with arrows on it. But what a lot of people will do is they will put arrows, there we go, arrows on the bottom of their brush so they use it in one direction every single time. I just always know that when I'm holding my brush, I'm going to hold it so I can read the text as I'm brushing it. The reason why you want to make sure you're brushing the same direction with the brush is that over time these bristles will bend in one direction. And if you were to have those bristles bent in one direction and then you flip it around, you're going to be pushing against those bristles. It's going to be a little bit harsher on the ski base for sure. But really the main thing that you want to avoid is actually the health of the brush. If you bend these back the other direction, you're actually likely to break those bristles. It's going to mush out your brush pretty quickly, and then yeah, you're just going to be having to replace your brush. So the ski base is definitely a piece that I'd be worried about, but not as much as the brush. So after you do that metal brushing, again, because I have this rolled on with the machine, this is now just completely stripped of all that surface level wax. I'm going to use a nylon brush, and with this, just kind of scrub the crap out of it. Nylon brushes, you can go either direction, forwards, backwards, it does not matter. This is going to be what's going to polish that ski base, make it look nice and shiny at the end. So this ski is now done with that hot waxing process. So I'm going to move on to the next ski here and do this one a little bit quicker, but also show another way to make the brushing process even easier yet. So just like before, taking out the groove, sidewalls, scraping. All right, so the next step now to make this job easier, and really I couldn't live without one of these power tools. So this is going to be roto brush. This is actually a very basic roto brush here setup. So it's going to be the handle, but it's it's a horsehair and a nylon combo. This is the easiest way to get into roto brushing, and easiest and cheapest. So with this, we are going to be making sure that the brush is always pushing the wax away from you. So as I'm going down the ski, there's going to be dust going away, and I'm not pulling the dust towards me. So pushing away. With this brush specifically, we're going to be doing the horsehair first, then the nylon second. So. Horsehair is done. And now the nylon. There we go. So the ski is now really all quite set. Again, I'm going to brush off this. Brushes, roto brushes really are the biggest time saver that you can have when dealing with ski service. It does the work a lot more efficiently and a lot faster than with a hand brush, and also provides a better end product. So that's one of the biggest advantages that I'm able to give people when I'm working waxing for them. So like in our Berkey service where I'm waxing up to 450, 500 pair of skis, we only are using those roto tools just because we can't do that amount of service with hand tools. But the brushing that we do, I think, is the biggest advantage that we're giving our customers versus the physical wax that we're putting on there itself. So the wax is obviously helpful, but the difference that you get with a knowledgeable set of hands, scraping and brushing, and having tools like this is really going to help make that better. So on this ski here, I'm actually going to show a different brush. So this is going to be a Roto Steel horsehair mix. So this is what I primarily use when I'm scraping and brushing these melt-on waxes like this. And so with this, again, making sure that that's going away from you at all times. On this brush itself, I'll pull this off, there's actually a space for you to write the direction of the brush. And so again, that's to help preserve the bristles on this brush, making sure that you're rotating that same direction every time. So again, we're going to start off with the steel going into the horsehair. So two things that I usually get asked questions about is how much pressure am I putting on this? I'm really not putting a lot at all. So if I were to rest this on and then basically just put the weight of my hand on here, that's about as much pressure as I'm putting on there. The other thing is I get asked, like, why are you doing brushing backwards? So as I'm going backwards, I'm pulling backwards. Well, I'm pulling backwards, but this drill is rotating at 2,000 RPM. So even as I'm going backwards, the brush is still moving in a forward direction, pushing the bristles in that forward direction. So, so really no issue at all of brushing backwards as long as, again, you're moving. The big tip with the Roto Steel is always keep it moving. These steels can create a bit of heat, and if you were to just put it on the ski and just hold it down in one position and let it go, that's where you're gonna, again, potentially cause some issues with your ski base. But really, as long as you keep it moving, keep the brush moving, there's very little risk at all to your ski base. So this is the ski that I had made sure that I ironed properly, and made sure everything got wax melted in. I know it's going to be difficult to see on here, but there will be some different colored base material via the center of the groove and the outside of the grooves, and there's even some striping that I see underneath the base here, and another spot right up here in the tip, where it's definitely signs of some burn damage. So really what you can see is that, assuming that you get all the wax out of the ski, which is really easy to do with that steel brush, if you see different colored base material, that's generally a sign of base damage. Whether that is burn damage or let's say ice damage, just skiing on man-made snow, or your bases are drying out, or there can be a lot of different types of base damage. But what you want the ski to look like is this here, which is one nice uniform color all across the ski. Next we're going to move on to is what I think is the most important part of waxing is going to be liquid waxing. And so this is something that is where you can go more condition specific, as opposed to the melt-on wax where you can just go with kind of one universal wax. The The liquid waxes, we're definitely going to look to get more condition specific. And so this is where it's important to kind of learn and understand the Rex line. Once you learn pretty much these 4 waxes or these 4 colors, you'll have an idea of what's going on in the entire lineup. So we'll start off with the 11 or yellow. So this is NF11. Well, in the Rex line, there's G11, NF11, NFX11. In the kick line, there's even N11. They're all going to have the yellow associated with it. What this really works for is warmer / wetter snow. So this is going to be the if there's standing puddles or if it's currently raining, this is going to be the option that you want to apply. Moving on to this one here, NF21G. This is the black wax. It has a graphite additive. Good for new snow. So again, you look outside the window and it's currently snowing, or it snowed 6 inches, 8 inches yesterday. Again, another good option for you to apply. Move on to the specialty waxes. This is NF41. You'll see here it has a pink cap, but there's actually 2 different colors on here, pink and green. So the pink stands for old snow, artificial snow, man-made snow, transformed, basically just ice chunks, which is very, very abrasive type snow. The green is actually for all cold snow types. So it could still be unnatural snow. As long as it's cold and abrasive, this wax is going to work well. So the one thing that cold wax and man-made snow wax has in common, it's really abrasive, and you need to put on a wax that's durable in order to combat that. So this is going to be that durable wax. So once again, I'm just going to go over these 3 really quickly. Wet snow, new snow, abrasive snow. 21, that's everything else. So you can kind of learn that really quickly and easily with that process. As long as you get that, you're really going to be set there. And you can take that from the G series, which is kind of more entry-level basic products, all the way into the NF series, which is going to be the racing line, NFX, which are powders, high-end racing powders. Those principles go throughout the entire lineup of waxes from Rex. So again, once you learn this, you kind of know the entire line. So I will demonstrate how to apply this, and this is where, if you are newer to this and just looking to wax for the first time, you can probably skip out on the melt-on stuff if you want to. The melt-on stuff will definitely help out with durability of the liquids that you're putting on. So the combination of a melt-on and a liquid is really what lets the liquids be durable. If you're only to use liquids, that's where you're going to have to run into some issue with it wearing off pretty quickly. But if you can do a melt-on on occasion, it's actually going to help out with that durability of these liquids. They last really long, assuming that you have a good base down. So with this, I will show you how to apply this without this fancy wax setup, without this bench. So I am just going to dab this so it's wet, and then on the ski here, just wipe it down so that way it just gets wet. That's the thin application that we're looking for. And yes, it is easier on this, but I just want to prove a point that you don't need fancy setup to get this done. So cool, we have that now set. You'll see it's, again, this milky, dusty substance on here. This ski is now pretty much dry. The Rex products, the Rex liquid products, and the Dauber bottles are going to be have an isopropyl alcohol carrier. That isopropyl carrier will actually evaporate really, really fast. So it means that you can apply this and brush it out almost immediately. I like to let it sit as long as possible. So I'm actually going to go to the other ski, do that same process again on the other ski here. I'm putting it on the bench this time just because, again, it's slightly easier. You'll be able to see what I'm doing here. So just getting full coverage of the ski, making sure that there's enough liquid going on. all the way down the ski base. And so, again, I'll let this sit and dry. If you have the ability to let this sit on for a half hour, overnight, it's going to be better. Another thing you can do is you can actually layer this. So you can do multiple layers of the liquids, and that will help out with some of that durability. If you're to do layers, I'd let probably that first layer sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and then let the second layer sit overnight. I will also show this next step here without this. All you're gonna need is a nylon brush. So your very, very basic wax kit is your wax and a nylon brush, liquid wax and a nylon brush. So with this, I'll put down, and I'm just gonna buff it out with my brush. Doesn't need to be anything special. You can't overbrush. You can never brush too much with a nylon brush. Oop, there goes the light a little bit. We're good. So, brush, and then again, taking my fiber cloth and just wiping off that excess dust. This ski is now ready for me to go out and ski on. So that's going to be good there. We'll move on to the other ski here. Again, you'll be able to see that kind of the dusty surface. That's the paraffin that is fully evaporated. And I'm actually going to go to a different method of taking it off. This is what is recommended or best for performance and a little bit of durability, but is going to be a roto-wool and then a nylon combo. So this is, again, a way to quickly take the wax off, but also is going to be good for more speed and more durability. So I'm just going to go. I know it's probably a little bit loud. And so with this this one, I'm actually putting a little bit less pressure on this brush than I am on with the hand, the roto brush. The roto brush, I was putting this on and then like resting my hand on. This one, I'm basically just using this hand to just guide the brush. It's just the weight of the drill and the brush on here is all I'm doing. So I'm not putting any extra pressure on there at all. Again, now this ski is pretty much good to go for me. So I can just take that off, and yeah, we're now all set. That pretty much wraps up the video here. I just want to kind of give a reminder here of just kind of the process. Glide cleaner, that'll be the first step. Then you're going to move on to your melt-on wax. Again, my recommendation for those that are just looking to get more of an entry-level kit, just picking out one wax, whether that be the Rex Blue or the Anif Sisu base, and then following that up with your liquids to go based on condition. So G Series is going to be the slightly more affordable. NF Series is going to have definitely a bit more performance involved with that. We have tons of other products that are available as well that are going to help speed up your skis, but it will require a little bit more expertise with the application or some testing to figure out which products are going to work well where. So it's just nice to be able to have this set of 5 waxes, 1 melt-on, 4 liquids, and you're going to be competitive in almost every citizen level race, junior level race there is. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. We will try to look over that and make sure that everything is answered there. And if there's any follow-up videos that might be needed because of those comments, I can work on it over the next couple weeks here. So yeah, thanks. Take care.